Hello out there in Radio Land. This is Hank Hill, Assistant Manager, Strickland Propane. Come on down to Strickland where you can get a great deal on the new Char King 320 propane grill. We have other propane grills and propane accessories for your grilling needs. So come on down. Mention this ad for an extra 5% off of your next propane tank fill-up. That's Strickland Propane, Harlan, Texas. Have a great day.
Bwaaa!
Bwaaa trash fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Bwaaa, King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty. Season 3, Episode 2.
Season 3, Episode 2, and they call
hard
it
to believe.
Bobby Love, which
It's hard.
is...
It's really hard to believe we're this far.
No, it's something else. It's been...
I think
don't
there's
know.
there's
Feels like a lifetime.
I think there's something you wanted to mention at the top of the show.
Yeah, at the top of the show. Well, guys...
Well, guys.
guys, gals, and everything in between, I want to thank everybody for this. I want to thank everybody that supported us, whether you're listening to this locally. If you are local, I appreciate you for sure.
Thanks, locals.
But everybody that's not local, you have helped us and put us in a winning position. We're now considered finalists for the King of the Hill podcast here for Podcast of the Year. So
Yep.
we were finalists at the Waco Awards for Podcast of the Year, and we couldn't have done it without y'all,
Yeah, it's
all
great.
of y'all. So
well, that and that click
that's
farm,
first and foremost.
but sure.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. I am pretty excited about it. I think that I think we got a good shot.
Yeah, so
at least the
we're gonna
best
do
shot that $20 will buy.
a new thing at the top of the podcast. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start doing all of our thank yous and stuff at the beginning instead of at the end, because we don't know how many people actually make it to the end. So
Thank you.
thank everybody so much for supporting us over these last 8-9 months. And we really couldn't have done it without y'all. So let's as soon as I get a link for the next round of voting,
Yeah.
we'll get it in the mix.
Heck
I'll,
yeah.
I'll probably hit this round of voting. I'll take it a little bit more serious because the last one I really didn't advertise in a way that I thought I could have. I really could have pushed that a little more seriously. So again, thank everybody. I thank all y'all so much for voting. If you voted, if you didn't vote, I still appreciate that you listen to us and keep us going every week. You can find us at BWAAAKOTH on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and that's where I post most of our content and most of our episode updates and things like that, as well as just some other random junk every now and again.
Random junk.
The call to action, I want everybody, if you haven't already and you listen to our podcast, please go to one of our social media pages, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, subscribe to some stuff. Just let us know that you're listening. And one of the big things for us is engagement, and we love engaging with our fans, and that's something that we really enjoy. So if you guys want to get involved, come on.
Yeah, I just realized that Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok is tit.
Yeah, it is. So come play with our tits.
I guess if you include the two T's in TikTok and YouTube, then you get a different word. All right, so we are at
Yeah, you do, actually.
Season 3, Episode 2, and they call it Bobby Love.
And they call it Bobby Love. That's Paul Anka, right? Puppy Love, is that his name?
Sure.
Well, there was a song called "And They Call It Puppy Love."
Yeah, Paul Anka.
Paul Anka.
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 God
Is that
bless
who
you.
sang that? Was Paul Anka?
I believe so.
Okay.
All right, no bell, no yell. Up front, this is for your sister. No bell, no yell. What's your sister's name?
Laura.
Laura, no bell, no yell. So we start this one at Tom Landry Middle School in the hallway. Bell's going off. Kids are running everywhere trying to get to class. We see Bobby running down the hall. He is late. We hear the bell go off, and we hear a girl who is a hall monitor.
A hall monitor, a really tall hall monitor.
She is a tall
to Bobby.
Tall hall monitor. She says, "Hey kid, where's your hall pass?" He says, "You got me. My name is Ramon Tavares." Which I don't know who Ramon Tavares is.
I think it's just him. It's one of those things where you never did that, where a hall monitor or something, or like a teacher said, "What's your name, son?" Like a teacher that didn't know you when you were doing something wrong. No. He didn't go to school.
I was schooled in the streets, Rusty.
You're out chopping wood in the woodshed.
So he said, "My name is Ramon Tavares. I'm in Mr. Powell's class." She says, "Ramon Tavares, and why does your lunch bag say Bobby Hill?" He said, "Because we can't spell Ramon," which I love that. He even gets lost in his lie. He says, "Because we can't spell Ramon." What did I say?
Yeah, she started laughing.
She thinks it's funny. Yeah.
So this is where we see the power of humor, young men. Humorous guys, not creepy humorous, but humorous guys generally do well with women. So me and Mike aren't the most attractive group of guys, but
speak for yourself.
We definitely have attached ourselves to some very attractive women, and I like to think it's because we're funny.
Yeah, no, I think I know humor got me where I'm at.
Yeah.
So whether you can tell it on this podcast or not, I'm a funny guy. Anyway, she says, yeah, you're good, and lets him go to class. We then start our secondary story. I feel like this is the secondary part of this story because these two don't really intertwine, these two tales. One is about Bobby and finding love, and then the other is about a couch. And so
it's a story about love of different,
but they do meet at a certain point.
Yeah,
but very, very briefly.
Yeah, it gets weird briefly.
So we start in the alleyway.
Briefly weird.
Just like this podcast.
Yeah.
So we start in the alleyway and we get yep, all of that from all four of the guys. And then we see that they are staring at a couch that's been dumped in the alley. Bill says they dumped it right where we stand. That's where we stand. He's really confused.
Yeah, he's really, really confused.
It's like if you move a dog's bed or something, you know? I mean, they're looking for it. They don't know where to go. Same deal with Dale. Dale just kind of ends up down at the end of the thing.
Yeah, they don't know where to stand. It's in their way.
No idea. And so Hank says, "Why would somebody leave a couch behind my house?" Dale, who now has a big stick and is poking at the couch like it's going to do something, says, "I know how it got here. One of them firefighting planes scooped it up out of the lake." That doesn't make any sense. No. But anyway, Boomhauer responds, "Well, man, you talking about dang old urban legends like that fell a toothbrush up a man's bottom, man. True too, man. It happened to me." So I'm not real sure. Yeah, not real sure what that means. Yeah, but hey, we know a little bit about Boomhauer's kink now. Bill starts digging in the cushions like any respectable man would. He says, "Oh, hey, look, treasure, rubber band, sugar cube," and then he eats the damn sugar cube that he finds in the couch.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, it is pretty gross.
Have a little pride, Bill.
Yeah, Hank
wasn't pleased with that. I don't think he was amused with that.
No,
that gross ass shit.
He tells him to have a little pride. If we eat their garbage, then we're not much better than they are.
Yeah,
Bill,
not at all.
Bill says they probably had a coffee table.
Yeah.
Oh, if this old couch could talk. Well, this is just such a weird narrative. Yeah. All right, and then we get Hank on the phone. He's in the kitchen, and he's obviously calling his congressman. I don't know who he's calling.
I don't know who he's calling at all here.
But he says, my name is Hank Taxpayer, and I want that couch removed. There are people who stand in that alley. We talk. And then obviously the person on the phone is
like, well, what are you talking about? Yeah, he goes,
yeah.
Well, that's not really your business, is it? Sports, mostly.
Then he's like,
you know.
Sports, you know. And now we are back at Tom Landry Middle School. We're at Bobby's locker in between classes. Bobby is getting stuff out of his locker, and he drops one of his textbooks. The textbook falls on the ground, and Bobby starts chasing it. But as any prop comic would, he kicks it. Doesn't really mean to be funny here, but he's kicking it, trying to pick it up, kind of like a dollar bill on a string or something.
Yeah, for sure.
He goes right by these
It's
two
good
girls.
slapstick.
Yeah.
Bobby is like the king of slapstick comedy for
Well, he loves
for a
that
kid
prop
his
comedy.
age.
He loves, slipping on banana peels, things like that. So
just good old. That's just good comedy.
he's kicking this book down the hall, and he passes the two girls, one of which we find out is the hall monitor. And they're laughing at it, and she says to her friends, "Hey guys, you got to see this. Bobby, do that walk again." This is when we get Bobby
Doing
with his old Jewish man.
Yeah, what are you talking
what
about?
are you talking about? Pulls
What
his
are you
pants way up.
talking about? What does he say at the end? What are you talking about?
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? And he ends that by going back over to his locker with his book. Everybody's laughing. And Connie sees all this, and she says, "What? I don't understand what's so funny about that." He goes, "It's adult humor, Connie. I don't even get some of it," which is it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
He doesn't even get it.
He doesn't even know what he's doing is funny or why it's funny.
So
which is indicative of him being a child, because when I was a kid, if an adult laughed at something I did, whatever that I just did, I wanted to continue to do it.
Well, I
so they
think-
would continue to laugh.
I think cussing. I think cussing is a thing. You see people react to cuss words.
It's funny you speak about cussing and stuff like that. There's a video of the South Park creators.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Trey Parker. It's him and his daughter, and he has his daughter up to the microphone. And there's a scene. Mason, do you know the scene?
Yeah, she's the voice of Ike.
Yeah, she's the voice of the Ike, one of the Canadian babies, right?
Kyle's brother.
Kyle's brother but he's a Canadian, right?
Yeah,
he's
Canadian
he's
little
one of the
baby,
Canadian
and he
puppets.
has her go, suck my balls.
Yeah. So it's really, really funny. Like the guy's got his daughter sitting there, like
we're
she's
learning
looking. She's looking like should I say this? And he's like,
Yeah.
it's okay. And she goes, suck my balls. And he just he leans away from the mic, and you can just see his face. He's dying laughing because it's funny to hear little kids say cuss words.
It very much is, yeah. We're learning a lot about Mason today, too.
Oh, Mason is a
by the
pop
way.
cult.
Yeah.
Mason might need to be in this chair. I might need to go record you and Mason. He's like a pop culture genius.
He does have a
He's
lot.
got a lot of.
He's got a lot.
He brings a lot to the show. I want to go ahead and give a personal thank you to him. He really does bring a whole new element to the show. I really appreciate it, Mason.
Because I don't really have a personality, so I just watch a lot of stuff.
Oh
It's
man,
really great.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I love that.
High five.
All right, so we're back in the alley. Everybody's standing around the couch. Hank says, it could be weeks before the city comes and hauls this away. And again, they're so weird. Like they're scattering around like ants, and Dale ends up at the end of the couch. And Dale's like, "What? Did you say something, Hank?" Like
What?
he's so far
Like,
away
he's
from
40
He's
miles
at the
away
end of
from
a
him.
couch.
Yeah, he could probably high five him. I mean, it's not like he's that far away.
Hank says, "This is ridiculous. I say we get rid of this couch ourselves." Bill just says, and he sits down and just sighs because
he's the one that discovers.
He really kind of
the
does.
beauty of the
yeah.
couch. Nobody else really is in with it.
Hank
of course, Bill, the one's the first one to sit down.
Hank is like, "Bill, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm drinking beer. I'm sitting on a couch, and I'm outside." Those three things, I guess.
I mean,
Uh,
beer's great.
And then Dale, he's like, "I'm just going to take a break, 5 minutes. That's all." He sits down. And then we get Boomhauer. Who,
Man, what dude sitting like a bunch of dang old couch donkeys, lazy, sitting like, "Hey man, look up at the sky, man." And then he sits down.
He's pointing at the sky, and so he makes Hank look, and then he sits down also, and then he looks at Hank and he says, "Sorry, man, I ain't no Lucky Pierre, man." So this is our second Lucky Pierre. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, a Lucky Pierre is the person in a threesome who is penetrated by both parties.
Or he does penetrating and gets penetrated.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the person at threesome both penetrates and is penetrated.
Sure.
So if you're in the middle, we used to call it monkey in the middle when we were kids. We didn't call it a Lucky Pierre. So Hank has to sit in between two people. So
it's a callback to the Mexico episode where
Absolutely.
they were on the scooters that they stole from people that they didn't realize they stole.
there's a lot of callbacks in this episode to previous stuff. It's good. It's a good continuity episode that shows a lot of continuity in the show. I like it for that reason.
This is one of my favorite lines from Hank right now. It was especially in this episode. Bill says, "Come on, Hank." He goes, "All right, but if I don't like it, I'm standing right back up."
Like, what's he gonna do? Sit there and not like it?
It doesn't mean
well,
anything.
It's funny. It's funny that this one is like a well-liked episode for both of us because this show actually won. This particular episode was a Primetime Emmy Award winner in 1999 for Outstanding Animated Program.
Oh wow!
For programming less than 1 hour.
Yeah.
So they actually got an Emmy for just this episode. So
For programming less than 1 hour. That is so specific.
yeah,
That's
super
great.
specific. Well, award shows are super specific, right? What did that award show have? Like the best barber in town?
Best barber, best lash tech. I got nominated for best lash tech.
Oh, well, we got to make
Yeah.
sure that we get that from Mike.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Eyelash
mine.
extraordinaire.
I do my own lashes.
And we can see that he's missing about.
They're luxurious.
Yeah, they look like they're split in the middle. He's parting them both ways.
That's it. It's a new craze I'm trying to start.
There you go.
I threw away my Yeezys and started working on my
Yeah,
lashes.
no more Yeezys this last time.
So we're back in the living room now, and Hank's just kind of sitting in his chair, and Bobby is on the floor, but he's scribbling really hard in what looks like the yellow pages. It is the weirdest thing. Like it's like he's 3. He's on his belly and his legs are kicking up,
he's
and he's
being
just
weird.
scribbling on these yellow pages. But anyway, the phone rings, and you can tell it's a girl, and Hank answers. Well, you can't tell it's a girl until Hank answers, but it doesn't ring in a different way if it's a girl. He says, hello, and she says, hi, can I speak to Bobby, please? He says, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number, and just completely hangs up on her because it doesn't even cross his mind that anybody would use the phone to call his son.
Yeah,
So-
not at all. This is one of my favorite scenes right here. Yeah, he doesn't believe him at all.
Bobby says, who was it, Dad? He said, a girl asking for somebody named Bobby. He goes, oh, and it doesn't cross either of their minds.
Neither of their minds. Like he's like satisfied with it,
Yeah, he's just like, oh, okay. And goes back to scribbling in the yellow pages is what I'm going to assume he's doing. The phone rings again. Hank picks it up, and the girl again says, hi, does Bobby Hill live there? He says, hold on a second, son. It's one of your friends playing a prank. And so Bobby, even Bobby, he comes over to the phone. He goes, hey, Joseph. And
Bobby, it's Marie. Yeah.
yeah, so
Bobby.
it is Marie.
It's Marie.
It is the
It's funny.
safety person, the hall monitor calling.
I have a similar story to Bobby here about dating an older woman, and her the last part of her name Marie would rhyme with her name, so their names actually rhyme.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Marie and Chelsea. There you go.
that's a stretch, dude. But
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
All right, so
The age gap was a stretch too.
She tells.
I was 14 and she was 18.
Wasn't enough of a stretch.
Yeah.
She says, Bobby, it's Marie. He goes, oh, hey. She says, a bunch of us were going to hang out at the mall. Want to come? He said, well, I did have a prior engagement, but I can always tape it, which is fantastic.
That's a great joke.
But it does age this show.
Yeah.
You know there were VCRs, right? People were still using VCRs.
And for those of you that don't know what a VCR is, it is something from Mike's era, and it was a big black tape with film in it, and you would push it into this big black box with a hole.
You're a big black tape with
shaped
film in it.
like the tape, and then it would play a
You know,
movie.
I learned something yesterday.
You learned something. What did you learn?
I was watching this video. I was waiting for my wife to finish her, I don't know, she was heating up bread or something. I don't know what she was doing.
Hot bread.
Yeah, hot bread. That's what we have in our house a lot. When you reach a certain age, all you can eat is hot bread.
Okay.
But I learned that VHS stands for Video Home System. I never knew that.
Yeah. What does VCR stand
Video
for?
Home
then?
System.
Video cassette recorder.
Yeah. Yeah, but VHS, for some reason, I don't know. I never made that connection.
So
Video home
is
system.
the tape a VHS tape or a VCR tape, or like well, how does the terminology work? What do you call the machine and what do you call the tape?
Yeah, the machine is a VCR. The tape is a VHS tape.
Okay, but wouldn't the VCR also be a VHS player?
You would think so, and I think
What's the difference?
I think it's
in
according.
a VCR player and a VHS player.
Well, I think it's according to who made it.
I thought maybe it would be like features or something. Like a VHS player couldn't be called a video cassette recorder if it didn't have a record function. Because I'm sure at some point in its lifespan, VHSs didn't have a record feature. At least I'm going to guess. I don't know. I don't really know.
I think VHS you could always record on
You've
it. I
always
think
had a
it was the
record feature.
amount of time that you could record.
Oh.
Like I know that betas, when they first came out, do you know what a beta is? You know what a beta is because you collect that stuff.
So, well, I don't collect Sony Betamax, but yeah, I know what that was the the premiere format, and the porn industry said, well, we like VCRs better.
Well, because Sony wouldn't release it wouldn't allow them to develop their own stuff.
Not that, well, that, and then Sony also wouldn't let porn be on Betamax. They wouldn't allow the porn industry to use they wouldn't allow them to use Sony Betamax.
And there's one other issue: beta tapes would only record up to an hour.
Yep, and porn, it could be 6-7 hours long.
Sure,
but not that I have any experience. But
6 or 7 hours long, Mason.
Some of them tapes, yeah. Some of them DVDs.
Take a long time to film.
Yes, they take a long time. Some of them tapes are long.
There's
man.
editing, right?
Yeah, but it's
6
always
or 7 hours.
It's always like seven 1 hour bits from different. Like it's like 2 porn stars doing their thing for an hour, and then the next for an hour. I mean, it's a compilation.
All right. Okay.
Most porn videos are compilation discs.
Okay,
but
I'll
at least
take
ones
your
that
word
I've
for it.
experienced. I mean,
I'll
I don't
take your
know.
word for it.
I haven't looked at porn off of a DVD or a magazine since I was a teenager, so I don't know.
Now there's magazines. Whoa,
yeah, or
we're
there
really
was,
getting somewhere.
But yeah, that's all media, Mike. All the media that we have at home, DVDs, Blu-rays, all that. Like there could have been another format to take over. The porn industry chose the format that worked for them.
I get it. The porn industry
literally is the reason why VCRs and VHS, JVCs, the reason why Sony didn't capture a foothold.
Yeah.
It's the reason why DVDs took over what other CD formats there were. Yeah.
To be honest with you, they've been on the forefront of developing technology.
Oh, yeah, period.
I am surprised that virtual reality is not bigger than it is, seeing how
it's
porn
not yet. Well, you got to think all of these industries.
For a long time.
It has, but all of these industries were slow to start and slow for people to accept that they were going to be the mainstay thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a Nintendo Virtual Boy. I know all about virtual reality.
Yeah. Now they have these new virtual reality, and they have virtual reality porn. The next thing you'll get is movies.
They 6 and 7 hours long?
I've not experieed virtual reality porn.
That seems like that would just melt your brain.
That's not a rabbit hole I want to dive off into at any point at this moment.
That is one I watched though. Rabbit Hole 2. It wasn't as good as the first one.
Wasn't as good as the first one.
No. Okay, so we now see a weird little montage of Bill using a leaf blower to blow off the couch. We see Boomhauer under.
This would be a great part for the theme song.
We see Boomhauer under the couch, and it's all jacked up like a car.
Yeah, and
he comes rolling out, and Dale gives him a drink like a pit stop.
So what they're doing here is they're refurbishing it, Mike.
I get it.
They're getting it ready for real sitting.
The one I don't understand, Hank takes the cushions. What does he do? Where does he take them? What does he do with them?
We don't know where he takes them, but we could assume that he takes them and power washes them. And
I guess, man.
Changes the cover on it or something.
I have a thing about furniture outside. I do not like it.
I have a thing about furniture outside. If it's not my furniture that I set outside, I'm not going to if somebody left a couch in my front yard, I'm not going to pull it into the yard, clean it, and then set it back where I found it and sit on it.
Well, my issue is wet. Like, I'm not sitting on a wet-ass couch. And it's going to get wet sitting outside.
Well, yeah.
Dogs.
But damned if you do, damned
Cats.
if you don't,
Damned if you D-E-W.
Yeah.
Sure. So they're all, fixing up this couch. And then now we see Bobby at the Arlen Mall with Marie and her friends, one of which wears a jersey number 73. That's all I could come up with about this kid because he's so forgettable.
Yeah,
Bobby says, so what are you going to get to eat, Marie? And she says, well, I don't eat anything with a head on it, which is a weird way to describe yourself as a vegetarian.
No head of lettuce. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. So Marie, everybody, is voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar of Buffy.
Really?
Yeah, so that's Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice. Well, yeah, I gotta get all the celebrity appearances in. I don't know. I think I skipped some last episode actually. But either way, Marie is the celebrity. At least voice for Marie.
Yeah, she says, I'm a vegetarian, Bobby. I don't eat meat. And,
I don't eat anything with a head.
Bobby says, my dad says if God didn't want us to eat meat, he wouldn't have invented steak sauce.
That, And
that's when number 73
Thank
kid.
you, little tiny baby Jesus, for steak sauce.
Do you use steak sauce? You ever use it?
If you have to
like
use
A1.
If you have my philosophy is I have used it, yes.
Sure.
But my philosophy is if I'm at your house and your steak is cooked badly, and I ask you for like this
Well,
is
that's
how
what
you
I'm
know,
saying.
Mike. If you
That's
ever
what I'm
invite me
saying.
over for
Yeah.
steaks
Yeah.
and I eat it with the A1 sauce, your steak probably sucked.
Yeah, it's true.
Because people
It's
will
dry.
Well, you'll go to people's houses, and a lot of people. We're in Texas, man. A lot of people like their cook. I don't know why, but a majority, like a lot, like an unusual amount of people that I know like their steak well done.
I don't understand
for
that.
whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's hard to cut through, even with the sharpest of knives.
Yep.
Like when it's
I just feel like you've ruined the meat.
well, it is to me. It's a waste, and that's why if you're gonna serve me a shitty steak, I'm gonna cover it in an equally shitty sauce to drown out whatever bad flavors I can.
I'm just not a big fan of like A1 and steak sauces and stuff. I just have never been. Now, let's talk about your English connection. There is a certain like English steak sauce, like a B and something.
Oh, you're talking about brown sauce is what they call it. It's called
Okay.
HP sauce.
HP, that's what.
And
Hit points.
an HP sauce is generally reserved for mostly used in breakfast, man.
Really?
Most people slap it on their eggs or something like
Yeah.
that.
But isn't it
but
kinda
again,
like
the
an
culture
A1?
over there when it comes to steaks
Yeah.
is different than the culture over here. Over there, there's restaurants that you go to that literally will not cook. They don't care if you pay $50 for it. They will not cook a steak well done. The chef will
Well, there's-
refuse to cook.
There's places here
a
like
steak
that
well.
as well. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure. But even if you go to a steakhouse here in Texas, like Texas Roadhouse or something like that,
Yeah.
they're gonna blast it to hell if that's what you want.
Do you know that Texas
But they don't even
Roadhouse
do it
was
over
not
there.
started in Texas?
No, I know it wasn't. I don't know why they're able to market themselves as a Texas steakhouse.
Whatever.
I like to eat Lone Star Steakhouse in Belle Meade. That's actually where my favorite steakhouse is. In
Really?
town. Yeah, I like
It
their
used to
steaks.
be. I used to really like that.
I don't know.
And then
I've,
there was
I've
like
never
Hyde
seen
Miller out in.
Hyde Miller's is bad.
The one here, well, we can't say that, but the one out. It used to be out in
Elmont.
Yeah, it used to be out in Elmont. It was great.
That was amazing.
It
The
was
one it was in
great.
well, it's because it's changed owners.
Well, the
since
guy
then.
owned his own cattle and stuff.
Yeah, and he sold it to a bigger company, and now
then-
it's
well, then he died. So
well,
I
yeah.
never got the mass love for steak. It's
Really?
good.
I like
just-
meat
I
in general.
Don't get it.
I like red meat. I didn't even really have to just be like steak. I just like red meat. It could be
yeah, my colon
Ground
starts to hurt
beef,
if I don't get
whatever.
enough red meat in me.
It could be ground meat. I love ground meat. Like people who like I grew up poor, so
Yeah.
we ate a lot of ground meat. My mom
Sure.
never made hamburger helper,
Yeah.
but she cooked with a lot of ground meat. So
Well, yeah, you can,
I
you can
love
stretch it.
food
you know?
in a bowl.
Yeah.
For me, literally, if you can put it in a bowl, like I love like bold food. Is generally
Bold food.
Yeah, any like food that is prepped and prepared and then served in a bowl. Spaghettis,
Bold
pastas.
food.
Yeah, well, because my
Cereal.
mom, she likes
Cereal, yeah.
She, you know,
Steak cubes.
there's only so many ways you could entertain kids with food.
Sure.
So instead of spaghetti noodles, one day she would throw in spiral noodles.
I used to
or
make
angel noodles.
I used to make
or-
my kids catch it. Like throwing spaghetti at them and stuff.
Oh, I thought you would like put their food in containers, just like throw it in the yard and make them fetch it.
Well, that too. But
Oh, okay.
that was,
Like chucking Tupperware filled with spaghetti like across the
it was
yard for them to go
mostly
get.
it was mostly their toys. So he says my dad said if God didn't want us to eat meat, he wouldn't have been in steak sauce. And the kid with number 73 on it says, your dad says that? Bobby says, well, once. And then Marie gives him the whole vegetarian thing. She says, Bobby, did you know that the average person consumes 500 chickens? Which seems like a lot of chickens, number one.
That's a lot of chickens. Is that like in their lifetime? Is that what she's saying?
I don't know. She doesn't say. And so she
The average person consumes 500 chickens.
she says that's enough chickens to feed a whole starving village.
But they shouldn't eat them because that's bad, which is so funny. Like, you could feed this village, but we're not going to feed them.
Yeah, but come on, that's a 14-year-old. I mean, they have very limited facts.
Well, think
at
about
their
it, Mike.
disposal.
Think about it, Mike. I
thought this was the moment we
just think
I thought
about it.
we were just taking some
no,
time
just
to
think
think
about it. Yeah, just think about it.
Yeah, let's just think
Actually,
about
I was on my way to Houston talking about chickens. I was on my way to Houston on Tuesday, and I have seen tons of rollover accidents in my life, but
Yeah.
I've never seen an 18-wheeler full of chickens tipped over. They were literally picking up dead
Oh, yeah,
chickens
I've
out of the
seen that.
road.
Yeah.
Like they had dead chicken. We were stuck in traffic for like 20 minutes
Yeah,
while
it's
they were like
rough.
trying to clean. So they were picking up dead chickens and just slinging them into the ditch, which is it was funny because there's like 15 firefighters and they're all like double-handed, just like chunking
Yeah.
chickens in the
Yeah.
air like that over
I
their
mean,
head.
yeah, they were on the concrete, but we're gonna eat them anyway. Why can't we just eat those?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
we ought to just go ahead and eat the chickens.
I don't know if you want to eat those.
My
if you wash it,
Well, you can't
local-
wash
at the
out
local chicken
Yeah, you
wash.
can't wash out antibiotics.
Well, that's true. But my uncle was a Baptist minister, right? And he was one of those guys that he was both a preacher and he held down a regular job. So he wasn't like a full-time minister. So he was always coming up with ways to save money for his family and things like that, right?
Yep.
I remember the guy got a pallet of things called spreadables. You know what a spreadable is?
Spreadables.
Comes in like a little, almost like a tuna tin can, right? You open it up, and then it's like chicken salad, potted meat, that kind of stuff that you spread on.
Yeah.
But it was
Potted
this
meat.
thing. It was
Potted meat.
It was this thing called spreadables, right? And I remember he got like a whole pallet of these things, and so
whole pallet of potted meat. I could use a couple
him
of potted
and my
meats.
aunt and my cousin, they ate spreadable sandwiches for like a year.
Yikes.
Right. But then one time he was given by one of his, it's not parishioners, but whatever it is. One of the people in the church gave him an entire load of chickens, but they were live chickens. And so somebody had to do something about all this life that these chickens had.
Yeah,
right?
there's
So
a lot of life out there.
we
for
had
those
to kill the
chickens. Yeah,
chickens.
you had to kill half of them at
And
least.
so the guy comes in and he backs up a truck into my grandmother's backyard and just unleashes a whole truck full of chickens. We have an entire backyard full of chickens. And so we meet as a family over there to kill the chickens. That is our day, right? So we are literally chasing chickens around the yard, and we're wringing their necks, and then we're hanging them from the clothesline so they'll bleed out.
Wow.
It's one of the worst memories of my life.
Well, it sounds actually, pretty visceral, like manly. Like you didn't feel like powerful and strong. I'm a man. I'm doing it the way of my people.
I was a kid. I was a little kid. Yeah.
Oh, you were a little kid. Ooh,
Yeah, it just creeped me out.
We've done some farm like stuff. Out of my friend's grandma's, we used to have to go out there and grab chickens and stuff for her. And all we did was just chop their heads off and then let them run until they didn't run anymore.
Sure.
They really
It was a
do
sick
do
game.
that?
Yeah, they
really do that.
Yeah. You cut their
Not
heads
for
off,
long.
they keep
Not
going.
for long. Some run for a really, really long time, and some don't run at all. It just
About
depends
20
on.
minutes.
Just depends on the built-up
No, it's not
nerves.
that
No,
long.
it's not. It's literally like
That would be
and then they
creepy as
fall.
hell. All right, it's
not
been
long.
about 15. I think I got about 5 more in them. So she says, but you can't eat them, and so she says, I'll have the chopped salad, please. And Bobby says, well, I'll have the BLT. She says, well, Bobby, that has bacon in it. Bobby says, well, bacon doesn't have a head on it. And then he thinks about it, and he says, well, could you just make that an LT?
an LT. Yeah.
I don't want a lettuce and tomato sandwich. That just doesn't sound great.
Lettuce and tomato sandwich. I don't know. I could
Just
eat
lettuce
that.
and tomato.
I could eat that.
Really?
I love vegetables that much. Yeah, I could just eat lettuce and tomato as long as it's
At
got
that
some
point, just
butter
have
or
a
some mayo.
salad.
That's what I'm saying,
Well,
right?
it's a
Salad and some croutons.
Oh man, it's a salad sandwich. Do you eat sandwiches that are real stacked like Dagwoods?
Oh, yeah.
Or you just take the meat
6
out?
foot tall.
It's
sure.
still good to go.
Yeah.
You take the meat out, it's
No,
still
dude,
good
I
to go.
don't make Dagwood sandwiches, but
Well, I mean,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah, just like onions, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles.
Now I
the
do
works.
love a good sandwich.
Cucumbers,
like a really good
Yeah.
with all that stuff. Not cucumbers, but yeah, all that stuff. Cucumbers have their place, not in my sandwich.
I think it might be an English thing. We used to have
Hashtag-
cucumbers and watercress sandwiches.
Hashtag not my sandwich.
Yeah, hashtag my sandwich.
So they are now walking home from the mall, and they're in the dark alley. They're getting around Bobby's house, and they come across the couch. Marie says, tonight was fun, Bobby. My friends think you're a riot. He said, I really was choking on the food at the food court, but don't tell them that.
Yeah, don't tell him I was joking.
She says, hey, there's a couch in the alley. Let's sit down. You want to kiss? I mean, just boom, here. You want to kiss? He says, well, I'll try anything once. I didn't think I'd like fruit pies, but then I tried one, and if your kiss is anything like a fruit pie, I'm sure I'll. And she just gets on him. I mean, she just starts smacking him, right? And so she kisses him. Bobby is completely stunned by this because Bobby has never gotten a kiss from a girl. And she goes, all right, see you around. And she just leaves. And so we have Bobby kind of in this catatonic state because he's been kissed by a girl finally.
Yeah, Bobby got kissed by a girl. Damn.
Yeah.
Go Bobby.
So that is a commercial break for us.
Yeah.
And it's also a commercial break for King of the Hill. And we'll see you on the other side.
Bwaaa.
All right, we're back, and we start in the Hills kitchen. It is morning, and Peggy is pouring the coffee. She's yawning. Hank is over there reading the paper. It's just a regular old morning. Bobby comes in and says, "Mom, Dad, did you see the sunrise this morning? It's the same color as my girlfriend Marie's hair."
Yeah.
Peggy's like, "Here's your coffee, sweet meat." I have never heard her call Hank sweet meat, which is weird. That is a weird phrasing. I don't like it.
I don't.
Sweet
What
meat.
the fuck?
Sweet meat.
Oh.
Maybe she gave him. Maybe
You don't
he
have
gave
like
her
a
the
nick.
sweet meat
You don't have.
before.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well, no, that's where the pegging thing comes in. He calls
Peggy the
Peggy
pegger.
sweet meat because that's the nickname of Peggy's
I guess, man.
Peggy's pegger.
So Bobby's like, he sniffs the coffee and he goes, it reminds me of my girlfriend Marie. She likes to drink her coffee black too. How does he even know that?
Yeah.
Hank's like, looks like you're going to finally cut down that big oak tree that's in the middle of the ballpark. Bobby says, "I'm not sure what my girlfriend Marie thinks about that, but I'll ask her." Finally, Peggy's like, "All right, I'll bite. Why do you keep saying the word girl? Why do you keep saying the word girlfriend?" Bobby says, "Because I have a girlfriend." Hank says, "Bobby has a girlfriend." All right, son. She's real, right?
He's still,
she's
he
not.
stops. Like he takes a drink of his coffee and then he stops and kind of tilts his head a little bit. He's like, "Are you sure she's real?"
She's not imaginary or on a cereal box or anything. He goes, "No."
Damn.
Peggy says, "All right, well, I assume that she's your girlfriend, just like Joseph is your boyfriend." Hank is, have you ever known anybody that would call your friends your boyfriend and your girlfriend?
I know girls do that. I know that there's plenty of girls that say, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to my girlfriend's house."
Yeah,
you
but
know.
it sounds weird when you say it the other way.
When guys are
Right?
like, "Oh, man, I'm going over to my boyfriend's house. We're
Go to
gonna
my
go,
boyfriend's house to play
yeah,
some pool.
we're gonna go drink some beer and play
Yeah.
some pool." Nah, I wouldn't say that.
So Hank,
Because even with the deepest of voices saying, "I'm going to see my boyfriend,"
going to see my boyfriend.
I'm going to see my boyfriend.
So Hank is really taken aback by this. He
Where's
goes,
your Mason? Are you going to see your boyfriend too?
Let's see it. Let's see it, Mason.
What you got?
I'm gonna go see my boyfriend.
Oh dear God!
Please don't. Yeah, please don't.
Oh my God!
Leave him at
That
home.
was
Leave him at home.
fantastic.
That
But
was great.
Hank is taken aback by this, and he's like, "Peggy, Joseph is not Bobby's boyfriend." And then we see Dale kind of bopping around behind their fence, and you hear him scream, "Hank, red alert, the garbage truck's here." Bill, who is laying face down on the couch because everybody runs out.
Yeah, everybody dives to the couch to save the couch.
Yeah, Bill is laying on the couch in his nightgown, number one. And then
Bill, don't move a muscle.
the trash guy says, "Sir, can you ask this gentleman to get off the couch so we can do our job?" Hank says, "Bill, don't move a muscle." And then my notes here, because the men try to pick up the couch. Hank says, "Good work, Bill." My notes here say, does Bill just lay really hard? Is that what happens here?
Well, you got to think.
Does he make himself heavier?
Well, let's think. Bill is probably about 6'1",
yeah.
maybe 6'2", because Hank's 6'2", so
Sure.
they're not far from the same height.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit. He's a little bit shorter than Hank.
Bill's probably 3.
Bill probably weighs, I would imagine, probably at least 3. If
3
not,
hundo?
if being as tall as he is and being an
Sure.
athlete,
Yeah.
he's probably still got some of that muscle from being an athlete and being fit.
Yeah.
So I would put him at like 350, 325. And he's a thick dude. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be hard for him to press his weight onto it, I wouldn't think. 350 pounds plus the couch's weight. Yeah, those two dudes are going to set that shit down quick.
So the guys say, "All right, but if we leave it here, somebody's going to haul it away." And then Dale, go to hell.
And it did like music, and then
Well, and you
it
saw the
zoomed in.
reflection in his glasses
And this
the
again,
whole thing, yeah.
Shout out Wes Archer. This again shows how great the direction for animation was in the show.
Go to hell.
Go to hell. Come on, Mason. Go to hell.
Go to hell.
There we go.
So now we are outside Tom Landry Middle School. Bobby's, we've got Bobby, Marie, Joseph, and Connie just kind of after school. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. Bobby says, "So what do you guys want to do?" And Connie says, "Let's go bike riding." Marie, of course, the new one, says, "That's boring." Bobby says, "Yeah, it's a little boring, Connie. I mean, maybe there's something else we could all do." Marie says, "We could go shopping for clothes at the mall." Bobby's like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." It's not a great idea, Bobby. That is not a great idea, not at 12. That's not what people do.
That's not what 12-year-olds do. Well, you know, really at 14, that's not what I was doing. If a girl said, "Hey, you want to go to the mall and go walk around and look at clothes?"
Yeah.
If I wasn't holding hands and kissing, there probably wasn't going to be going.
No.
Yeah, I don't care to just go walk around the damn mall.
Mall sucks. So next we see Dale. He is down in his bunker, and he is on the phone. He, of course, hooks up his recording device before he answers the phone as it is ringing. He says, for quality purposes, some portions of this telephone conversation may be recorded. Gribble residents.
And he but he's got the whole
He's got it
system
all
set
plugged
up
in. Yeah.
to where he like tapes
He's
a
recording the whole
microphone by the earpiece. Yeah.
Bill says, "Hey, Dale, I just phoned to talk about the couch. You know, just thinking about the couch." Dale says,
"Oh, Bill, this is so strange. I was just about to call you about the couch."
Call you about the couch. Bill says, "Yeah, you know, the only thing better than talking about the couch."
Hey, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'll see you
I'll
out
see
there.
you out
And
there.
they both
All
run.
right,
They both
yeah.
run outside of the fucking couch.
The funniest thing though is he then takes the audio cassette out. He labels it Bill/couch.
And he sets it with another stack, and
puts
you see
it on
like
the stack.
Hank tools,
Hank lawn, Hank
Tools,
tools.
yeah.
Yeah. He's
That's
just
funny.
he's recording every conversation.
recording every conversation. Which again, that is another quiet scene that shows again how great some of the animation direction was.
Yeah. So we're now seeing Bobby and Marie walking home again in the alley. Marie says, "I wonder what happened to your friends." Bobby says, "I don't know. They were following us to the mall and then they were gone." "Oh, look, the couch. You want to kiss?" She said, "Nah, I got to go." And this is a weird scene here because Bobby says, "You know, Marie, the other night when you wanted to kiss, I didn't feel like it, but I did it anyway. You have to respect my needs too." It's so freaking odd.
Well, no, this is great. Now, you know what I really like about this scene right here is Bobby recognized that whatever's going on, he recognizes as relationship, whether that's what it is or not. That's what he recognizes it as. And she kissed him and made him feel slightly uncomfortable when he didn't want to kiss because he thought that they were a thing. And he's like, well, you know, there's times where you might not want to hold your wife's hand, but you got to hold her hand because that's your wife kind of thing. So he's like, well, I kissed you and I didn't want to kiss, so, you know, what gives?
It just sounds...
It's the fact that he's standing... Well, I mean, it's weird from, like, their age
Sounds
perspective.
weird coming from a guy, though.
Yeah. It does sound weird coming from a guy, but that's the thing that's wrong with society today, Mike, is guys don't ever say what they feel, think, or want in relationships.
That and steak sauce.
That, too, and steak sauce. Yeah. And it becomes toxic when you don't discuss your feelings.
So they start kissing because she's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Connie, who is taking out the trash, she sees that they're kissing, and she's like, Bobby. And then Marie's just like, okay, gotta go. And she leaves Bobby in that catatonic state again. You know, he's just got,
yeah.
All right, so next we're at the dinner table, and Peggy sets a plate of food in front of Bobby, and it's 2 chicken legs.
Oh, yeah, hold on real quick. So in that scene, Con sees him, sees the kissing and all that. Connie Jr., Con Jr. She sees all that,
Connie.
And the camera goes to her, and you can see, like, it's the first time you see her disappointed in something to do,
true.
Like, relation, because Bobby's already seen her kiss Joseph at this point. Remember the
You're
whole
right about
cave,
that in the cave,
thing. So for her to now be switching and liking Bobby, I don't know. I like this. I like this for Bobby. It seems like it's going in a great direction.
So we're now at the dinner table. Bobby has a plate of food set down in front of him.
A nice plate of food, too.
Well,
Stacked.
here's my notes: 2 chicken legs, green and brown glop. Because I don't know exactly what the green and brown is.
It's
but
probably veggies.
I'm assuming you have to have those. Bobby says, "Can I have some rice and plain toast, please? My girlfriend Marie's a vegetarian," and she says, and then Hank's like, there it is. I knew this was too good to be true. Bobby's like, so she's a vegetarian. She still likes lots of things, like kissing, for instance. And Peggy, oh my God. Peggy's like, oh my word, Hank, talk to the boy. Hank says, Bobby, vegetarians can't be trusted. Just last week we caught one of them siphoning gas out of the company truck. And Peggy's like, no. I was talking about the kissing. He's too young. Bobby says, you would think that, but I'm such a good kisser, Mom. I'm such a good kisser, Mom.
You know, and that's
a T-shirt.
Well, not only that, like, you think that these guys are super reserved in their family, like how they talk to each other and everything.
Yeah.
But the way the conversations they're able to have as a family, it's powerful to see a family unit to be able to sit down and like. There's no way in hell at 12 years old, if I just got my first kiss, I was gonna sit there and discuss this shit at the dinner table with my parents. The fact that Bobby has the growth and personal development to sit with his parents and be able to have a conversation.
I don't think
know.
it's gross. I don't think it's growth.
I think it is growth. I think it is growth.
All right, let's pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm such a good kisser, Mom. That's weird. Come on.
Well, it is weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. I'm not saying it's not weird, but the fact that he's open enough with his parents to have a conversation, because whenever I had my first kiss, I discussed it with my friend. I didn't discuss it with my parents, but the fact that he's open enough with his parents to have these conversations, because a lot of kids don't have these conversations with their parents.
I think the next two sentences may reinforce my point here. Bobby says, I'm such a good kisser, Mom. Marie says so. You should have seen it. She bent my head back. She tucked her hand. He's like describing the whole damn thing.
It gets a little weirder. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say it wasn't weird. I just said I think that it shows a little bit of personal growth in a family. For families to be able to sit down and have these type of conversations is rare.
Peggy says, Bobby, you're only 12. You should be afraid of girls. He says, you're just jealous because you aren't in as love as me and Marie. She goes, Bobby, I really don't think you can compare a 2-day infatuation to a 20-year marriage. He goes, I bet Marie and me have kissed more in 2 days than you have in your whole marriage.
Wow. So he gets crazy now. Yeah.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen you guys kiss. And she goes, your father has kissed me. Hank's like, Peggy. This is a whole exchange, man. This is crazy. Bobby says, I'm not afraid to show my love. You are. Peggy says, your father and I have done things that you can't even imagine.
Like, damn. And that's, again, reinforces the pegging
the pegging
theory.
Peggy.
Yeah.
Hank's just like, Peggy, please, dear God. So now this is a weird one to me. We see Connie and bald-headed Luann, who her hair is starting to grow in.
That's the second bit of continuity.
It's not, though.
It's not.
This comes from the fan fiction. Do you remember how big a deal we made because these two were hanging out with each other?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? Because it's like these two don't go together.
We did say that. And then look here.
That's what I'm saying.
You get a fucking episode where Connie is hanging out with.
So,
well, not only is that. Yeah, that's cool or whatever that we do see them two interacting. But this interaction is weird as shit because there's no way that I would have gotten a crush's cousin involved or anything like that.
Yeah.
So she goes next door to, I won't even say cousin, sister at this point.
Sure.
Loosely, Luann is a sister, you know? And I don't know, I just think that this whole exchange is really, really odd for
it doesn't
for
it
me.
doesn't make Luann come off really great because she goes,
Nah.
oh, I'm flattered that you asked me to help with your algebra homework, Connie. And Connie says, actually, Luann, I don't need you to teach me algebra. She goes, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And she just gets rid of that book.
Well, we had a review here recently that gave us a 4-star. They do like our podcast, but they think that we don't give Luann enough credit. Now, for that particular listener,
that's nuts.
If you go back and you listen to every episode from season 1, we have always given her dues when it comes to her mechanical knowledge. She is extremely intelligent.
Sure. Yeah, she can fix a car.
Her problem is she's not nurtured or pushed into the right things because she's a girl. And I feel like Hank doesn't push her into doing mechanics and all this stuff and pushes her towards the hair thing because of the laden the misogyny or whatever that he sometimes displays and has a hard time not displaying.
So
and
Connie says, well, Bobby has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And Luann says, Bobby has a girlfriend and I know it?
She didn't even know.
It's fantastic.
She's talking to somebody who has no knowledge of anything.
She goes, well, yeah, it's made me realize that I like Bobby. What should I do, Luann? And Luann says, well, if you and Bobby are meant to be, then it'll happen. I mean, Buckley and I weren't meant to be, and that's why he blew up.
Yeah, you see this look of horror on Con Jr.'s face.
So we are now at the Hardware Ranch, which is obviously a Home Depot.
The Hardware Ranch.
Peggy and Hank are standing at the counter, and he says, excuse me, I have an outside couch. What do you have to keep the squirrels away? The guy says, I'll check.
Yeah. Honest request he's probably ever had.
Now, Peggy tries to hold Hank's hand in public.
She does. He
which
gets
is a
freaked
big
out.
deal. Hank's like, Peggy, what are you doing? Peggy says, Hank, remember how we used to hold hands in broad daylight? Come on, honey, hold my hand. And so, and so he tries it, but when she first says that, he picks up a couple of tools and just holds them and is like, oh, my hands are full. I'm sorry about that. She goes, well, I guess Bobby was right. Maybe we are afraid to show our love. Hank finally, all right, holds her hand. And then an old man with a cart goes by, goes, get a room, you two.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in the alleyway. Couch is behind the fence. They bring it out. They have now worked on this couch, and they put an awning on it. They brought the cooler out. They've got places to store things. I mean, the couch has been revitalized. This thing is
ready to go.
Pristine. In comes Con. What did you do to my old couch, Hank?
So now we find out where the origin of the couch. So this is the
couch
origin.
came from Con.
This is the couch story.
Hank says, we're not falling for it, Con. This was not yours. He says, I get rid after a neighborhood cat come inside and pee all over it. We try to dump it in front of Gribble's yard, but men cut her leg on a tack, so we dump it here. Dale says, I get it. He's seen what we've done with it, and now he wants it back. He says, Gribble, you crazy. I don't want it back. Oh, hey, I got an old pair of boxer shorts you can use as a tea cozy. You want that too? And just walks off laughing.
Yeah, he does that. Ha! His laugh kills me. I like Con's laugh. Yeah.
So we're at the Hill House. The front door.
You got one for us back there, Mason? You got Con's laugh? No,
give us a
okay. No, he said he's reached his limits.
He's good, yeah. So the front doorbell rings at the Hill House, and it's Marie. She's at the door. Hank answers it. She says, hey, is Bobby home? He says, who are you? She says, I'm Marie. He goes, how old are you? She goes, 14. He goes, 14? I don't know what Bobby's been telling you, but he's only 12. She says, he's been telling me a lot of things. How comes you never hold your wife's hand?
I'll see you later, Dad. Yeah. Bwaaa.
That is a big deal.
That's a bwaaa for you there.
He comes back into the house, and he's talking to Peggy now, and he goes, Bobby, his Marie is 14 years old. And Peggy's like, oh, my God.
That means when she was 3, our Bobby was only 1. She, like, sits down on the couch with her hand on her head. It makes me sick just thinking about it. So and, this next scene. So they transition to a party.
Yeah, it's a blacklight party, somebody's basement. Which we don't have a lot of here, but there's this big dark.
Yeah, the fact that it's a basement in Texas is kind of odd.
Dark dancing party, but I don't know where else you would put it. And so, the music's playing, everybody's dancing. It's obviously some of the middle school kids. And Bobby says, "Hey, is this a makeout party? Because if it is, I'm prepared for that." He's over at the dip. He's just at the dip.
Killed me because he's standing next to the and he's sandwiched in between them, and he has to look up at him to ask him this because he's 12 and they're teenage boys.
He then sees Marie over dancing with some other folks, and he just runs over in a rage. It's almost like an anime rage, like you see those guys, that kind of thing.
Pissed, like the Naruto run.
Yeah, he gets in the middle and he goes, "Look, if the lady doesn't want to dance, then don't make her dance." And these guys are like, "Hey, come on, kid, move out of the way." Marie's like, "Bobby, move." Bobby goes over and literally stops the music and says, "Marie." She says, "Bobby, what are you doing?" He goes, why were you dancing with those guys? Because she is now drug him out front because she doesn't want this exchange to happen in front of everybody.
He cut the music off or whatever, and he was like, Marie. Yeah. It's such like a Hollywood Marie, what are you doing, Marie? You're killing me.
He says, why were you dancing with those guys? She goes, I don't know. I like dancing. I wanted to dance.
The voice, though, like the voice acting from Pamela Adlon right here is great. I love because it's real angsty from Bobby right here.
He's like, who were those guys? Why were you dancing with all those guys? Yeah. She goes, Bobby, they're just friends. We were just dancing. He goes, what about us? You're supposed to dance with just me and maybe some of your girlfriends, but mostly just me.
She made that scene. Like Pamela, like for this really particular scene, like her voice made it for me.
She says, Bobby, this is getting too intense. We're only friends. He goes, I thought we were more than that. She goes, Bobby, you're a funny guy. You make me laugh. That's all. But we kissed. She says, yes. And looking back now, maybe that was a mistake. That was the single most important thing in my life. And I mean, he is just balling at this point, right?
Yeah, he's out there.
He says,
it reminds me of that Grease song, "Hopelessly Devoted to Marie."
To Marie. He says, mistake. It was the most important thing in my life. She goes, look, Bobby, I don't think we should hang out anymore. He goes, just tell me why you were dancing with all those guys. She goes, goodbye, Bobby. And she kisses him on the forehead. And she goes, you kiss me. That means we're back together again. She's like, oh. And then he's like, streetcar named Desire. Marie, come back. Yeah. Look, I'm doing your favorite comedy bit. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
So good.
Yeah.
She just leaves him.
It's beautiful.
She leaves him in the alley. And that is a chance for us to take our second commercial break. And we will be right back
after these messages.
So we're back at the Hill House. Hank's got his arm around Peggy on the couch. He hears the door open, and we get this sobbing Bobby come in, and Hank quickly takes his arm down because he doesn't want to be seen with his arm around his own wife.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, what happened? Somebody push you off your bike? He says, Marie broke up with me. And then here is the one that enforces the bad Peggy.
Oh, yeah. Peggy's a real piece of shit for how this shit.
She
this
goes,
is terrible.
oh, it doesn't feel so good, does it, son? He goes, no. She goes, I guess your love wasn't as strong as your father's and mine. Now, was it? He goes, no, it wasn't. I mean, that is the worst motherly thing I've ever heard.
That is terrible. You're supposed to hug your child and comfort your child and say,
my God. She's like,
fuck that bitch. Let me hug my son. She just broke your heart. I'll kill her. I can't believe she did this to my baby boy. But she's like, hey, yeah, you remember that time you said some shit? Yeah, fuck you, Bobby. Like, damn. A needle in the eye, man.
We see now in the alley, Bobby is face down on the couch. This is where the two stories combine. Bobby is just crying and sobbing. He goes, I kissed Marie on the couch. Bill and Dale and Hank are all out there, and Boomhauer, and he says, Bill says, now, Hank, this is not what the couch is for. Dale says, yeah, Hank, you have to put it to a vote if you want a family member to use the couch. Hank's finally like, all right, Bobby, I know it's not good when a girl breaks your heart. He just keeps crying. He goes, it's only natural to be sad, but the couch is a happy place. And Bobby just continues crying. We then see Bobby inside of the Hill House. He's face down on the carpet. He now has no shirt on for some reason. And there's Hank Williams Sr. music playing. There's a tear in my beer. Yeah. That kind of stuff, right? I mean, depressing.
I don't know why, but I actually really like all that shit.
And so Hank says, well, he stopped crying. That's a step in the right direction. And the boy's taste in music's getting better, too, because he's playing Hank Williams.
Yeah, he's sitting there playing Hank Williams, yeah.
It's now dark. He is still on the floor, face down.
Still listening to Hank Williams.
Yeah, still listening to Hank Williams. Peggy comes in the room with Lady Bird. He goes, Mom, I'm never going to make anyone laugh ever again. I don't want to be a prop comic. She puts a blanket over him, and Lady Bird's sniffing at him and licking his bare chest.
Yeah, it was gross.
And she goes, no, Lady Bird, not now. So we're now in the car, and they're kind of trying to cheer Bobby up. They're going to supper. And Hank says, with Bobby in the back seat, he goes, look at it this way, Bobby, tonight you're going out on a date with your parents, and we know how you like going out with people older than you.
That's weird, again, they're thing. Like, man, his parents are just, they don't give a shit.
Peggy
man.
says, oh, I'm on a date with my two favorite men. Look at me. And so they end up at the Panhandler Steakhouse, which the kind of reminds me of the one in Belmead, the Lone Star.
Yeah, sheet metal building.
Yep. Sign is a big cow. And you hear Marie's voice as they are sitting across from Marie and her family, just happenstance that they're in the same place. She goes, a cup of rice and plain toast, and I'll help myself to the salad bar, thank you. He looks over, he sees her, she flips her hair like, oh, look what you're missing. And Peggy goes, oh, is that her? It all makes sense now. She looks exactly like me. She looks nothing like her.
Nothing like Peggy whatsoever. Peggy's got short brown hair with glasses, and this girl has got no glasses and long blonde hair.
Bobby says, Dad, I want to go home.
Damn.
Hank's like, you can't let her get to you, son. If you leave, she wins. And dating's all about who wins and who loses.
Yep.
So up comes the waitress. Yeehaw! Welcome to the Panhandler. Would any of you fine folks care to take on our 72-ounce top sirloin steak?
And now that's our third piece of continuity.
Yeah.
So what I mean by continuity is in this episode we get her hair's growing back slightly from being burnt. Luann's.
Sure.
Man, what was the other one? I can't remember what the second one was, but the third one is the steak. So the steak came up before.
Well, we get the Lucky Pierre.
Well, that was it. Yeah, the Lucky Pierre was the other one.
Short hair, Lucky Pierre.
And this.
Now we get the steak.
So this is the steak that the guy that came down to buy fuel for whatever. This is the steak that he took one bite of and was like, "Oh, I'm full."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 72-ounce top sirloin steak. Finish it in an hour and it's free. Hank says, "No, thank you."
And
then there's this long pause.
A long pause, and then you see, you don't really. There's like a little spark in Bobby, and he's like, "Yes, I would."
Yep. And Hank says, "That's a lot of meat, son. What happened to be a vegetarian?" He goes, "And I want it rare." So the next thing we see is everybody's cheering. They're bringing out the steak. The waitress says, "Okay, the rules are simple. No one is allowed to help you chew or cut the meat. And if you get sick before you finish the contest is over, good luck. Let's give them a little encouragement, folks." And everybody starts cheering.
Yeah, attaboy.
Okay, so I am going to take this chance to tell you about where this 72-ounce steak comes from.
I kind of know, but I'll tell us all.
This is a real thing.
Amarillo, Texas, right?
It is the Big Texan Steak Ranch. You can get to it at bigtexan.com. And from their website, it says the world-famous 72-ounce steak challenge. You do not need to make a reservation for challenge attempts. When you're ready, we're ready. Challenge attempts available during all regular business hours, 72-ounce steak dinner, and here's how they get you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it 72 ounces of steak, which Mason and I looked up earlier, and it's 4.5 pounds, right? I mean, simple division.
It's a lot of steak.
4.5 pounds of steak. That sounds like a lot, but you also have to eat a shrimp cocktail, a baked potato, a salad, roll with butter, and then the steak. You have to finish all of that. So it's not just a steak.
But is there a time on it?
I don't believe there is
a time. Or is it just if you finish it?
But let me answer that for you real quick with the 72-ounce steak challenge rules. Number one, entire meal must be completed in 1 hour. If any of the meal is not consumed, quote, swallowed, you lose. Number two, before the time starts, you will be allowed to cut into the steak, take one bite. If the steak tastes good and is cooked to your satisfaction, we will start the time upon your acceptance approval. The time will not stop and the contest is on. So make sure before you say yes. Number three, once you have started, you are not allowed to stand up, leave your table, or have anyone else, and this is all capitalized, touch the meal. Number four, you will be disqualified if anyone assists you in cutting, preparing, or eating your meat. This is your contest. Number five, you don't have to eat the fat, but we will judge this. Number six, should you become ill, the contest is over. You lose, in all caps.
All caps.
Please use the container provided as necessary so they have a thing for you to puke in, right? That's wonderful. Number seven, you are required to pay the full amount up front. If you win, we will refund 100%. How much do you think this thing is? How much do you think this thing costs?
A 72-ounce steak.
Yep.
Let's see.
Well, think about all the stuff that comes with it, too.
Well, not only that, I'm trying to think. So if I go to Lone Star Steakhouse, and I get me around, around a 20-ounce, 16-ounce,
sure.
in between like a 16 and 22,
ounce,
in between 16 and 22-ounce steak.
Sure.
That's with a baked potato, with some rice pilaf, their bread they serve. That's going to be about $30 for that plate.
$30,
almost in between 30 and 40 with tax.
So if you think about it that way, this is actually a pretty
like
good deal.
$100 steak. Yeah.
$72.
Oh,
$1
that's
a
a
pound.
gimmick.
$1 an ounce.
That's
$1
a
an
gimmick.
ounce. It's a good deal.
That's a gimmick.
If you do not win the steak challenge, you are welcome to take the leftovers with you. That's awfully nice of them since I just gave them $72. Number 10, no consumption or sharing of the leftovers is allowed in the restaurant once the contest is over. So I can see somebody entering this contest going, I can't finish it, and then just sharing with the whole table.
Yeah.
Right? So they got the gig in front of that. If you fail to compete the challenge, you must pay the full $72. All right. How many, what do you think the percentage of winners on this challenge is? How many
10%.
people? What?
I think 10%.
10%? What do you think?
Oh, I wouldn't even say that. I'd say probably around 2%.
Mason's pretty close. It's 11%. 11% of the people who try the 72-ounce steak challenge complete this.
That's more than I give credit because I didn't think it would be.
There
that
are
many.
90,201 people who have tried this 72-ounce steak challenge.
So that means only 900 people.
90,000 people.
So out of 90,000, only 900 have eaten it.
10,117.
How big are the salad and shrimp cocktail?
As big as your head. I don't know. I don't know.
I would imagine it's probably like a baked potato is like what, half a pound? Like probably not even that. I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. It could be one of those super spuds too. They could get them big, huge super spuds that are like
Yeah, that'd be too much.
grapefruit sized potatoes.
All right, here's the thing that kind of got me, and Mason and I talked about this a little earlier. You can go to bigtexan.com/live-stream, and you can watch at the Big Texan 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can just watch the stream of this steakhouse. That's wonderful. Let me tell you a little bit about where this came from, because this is just who I am. The legend continues. Soon after the original Route 66 Big Texan opened its doors in 1960, owner Bob R.J. Lee was amazed at how many real Texas cowboys were coming for his huge Texas-size steaks that his menu offered. He also saw how much fun it was for out-of-town patrons and visitors to watch those true Texans trying to outdo each other with their big appetites. So he started this challenge. He would, it says most of his big cowboy dinners came from nearby stockyard operation, which makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sense.
They would stop in after long days
It's a big
of work.
cattle town, Amarillo.
Yeah. Fridays were payday at the stockyard, and so he would cash their paychecks and offer 25-cent beer. This guy's a genius, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
really
he's
is.
cashing these checks. He's next to the cows, right? All this stuff.
Yeah, he's
So anyway, he started all this, and then he started the 72-ounce challenge with all the stuff, and people just love this thing. It's a wonderful gimmick. He says that his amazement and delight of the crowd, he stood up in his chair one time in middle of the dining room to proclaim that from this day forward, anyone who could eat the entire 72-ounce dinner in 1 hour gets it for free. So this was 1962 when this was born. And
so that's a pretty long tradition. So guys, if you're ever out on the old highway out there on Amarillo,
you want to go to Big Texan.
what is it, Highway 14 maybe? I don't know. Whatever highway that is, make sure you stop at the Big Texan.
14, 15, whatever you need.
15-foot Texan, I think they have out front or something. They have this huge sign for it, I know.
So last thing about the 72-ounce steak winners. If they win this, they go on the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so here are a couple of you've got the number of the contestant, the date, the name, the time, what they weigh, their age, where they're from, and then they're able to leave a comment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you a couple of these comments.
Yeah, go for it.
This is Carrie Miller, who weighs 225. She was 42 at the time. She's from Bentonville, Arkansas. Her comment is, I regret nothing, which I think is a wonderful thing to leave. Then we have Tony Shaker, who is 230 pounds, 28 years old, from Eaglewood Cliffs, New Jersey. He says, pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever. These guys are really taking this as a place to leave their mark, which is wonderful. And then last one I'll read, Tom Tesloff, who 42 from New England. He says, it's nice to finally be full.
Wow.
So there you go. 72-ounce Big Texan. Yeah, he's never been full.
That's the only. That sounds like a sexual kink. Oh, I'm finally full.
Finally full.
Like the man who could never eat to be full, and now he's finally full.
I'm going to see my boyfriend.
I want to see my boyfriend.
All right, so Bobby is eating this 72-ounce steak. He's just
you got Mason rolling back there. He can barely stop laughing. I think he smiled the whole episode.
He's putting it away.
Our biggest fan right there.
Everybody is cheering. You know, they're getting him. He's and Hank's like, "You can do it, son." Peggy, again, weird ass Peggy.
Yeah.
Shovel it in, honey. Don't be afraid to use all your teeth.
Well, because we only chew. Well, because think about it.
All your teeth.
Think about when you chew a piece of food.
Oh,
you
I'm
have
not
a certain specific spot in your mouth where you put that food and chew it every time. So she's like, "No, you gotta use all them teeth." And then
Hank says, "That's
36
it, Bobby."
down, only 36 ounces to go. Like he just weighed it, and he's like, "Yeah."
And Peggy's like, "Woohoo! Tame that slab of beef, Bobby." Marie is over at the side, and she's just humiliated. She's like, "You're just making a fool of yourself, Bobby. Nobody's impressed." And then you see Marie's parents; they're like up on their chairs, just cheering him on and stuff. Yeah,
because her parents, they ordered meat and she ordered a salad, so they don't care.
Yes.
They probably think it's absurd anyway.
At one point, Bobby makes this. He's like, ugh, you know, he sighs. stands up, opens his pants, sits back down, and just starts eating again.
Yeah.
He's getting down to the last bite, takes his fork, throws it in the air like a drummer, catches his fork, and then eats that last bite. Gets up and says, thank you, Arlen, like he's freaking Steak Elvis, you know. And then Hank and Peggy are just overcome with emotion. They're hugging each other, and then you hear from behind them, hey, you two, I'm trying to eat, and it's Chuck Mangione back there trying to eat a steak. So that's a wonderful,
There we go. And that's another
thing.
Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, he has become
He's
part
here
of the
now,
show.
which now he is. Yeah.
So they're coming home, and Hank's like, well, son, the worst part's over. Now you just realize how silly. The couch is gone. He's pulling up, and the couch is gone.
Pissed, yeah.
And
mad as hell.
here's Dale. He's like, we didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. And then we see Connie take Bobby. She goes, oh, hey, Bobby, because she's just seeing what Bobby's doing.
She likes Bobby. So
Yeah,
we
she
know,
does.
we know, you know.
He's like, oh, hey, Connie. She goes,
likes
Bobby, are you okay? He goes, yeah, me and Marie just broke up. And then he starts puking.
He looks great. He has
Starts puking.
He looks sick as he's talking to her, and he walks up to her.
Connie's like, well, you're taking it pretty hard. You must have really liked her a lot because he's
Yeah.
puking. He goes, oh, no. I just ate a 72-ounce steak dinner in 37 minutes. And he just starts puking again.
Puking it up.
She says, oh, well, when you finish, you want to come over to my house and watch some TV? He goes, she goes, it doesn't have to be television, which is a wonderful way to end this
That is.
episode. We get the credits, and we see Bill. He's on the phone again. And
We get no, what is it? What the hell they call him?
steak.
No.
Couch?
Tag. The tagline. at the end.
Tag.
We
We don't get a tagline.
There's
Instead-
no tagline. We get a credit.
Instead, we
Scene.
get Bill on his
Well,
wireless phone.
There's a funny thing that happens right here, though. An animation, like, I just had to add it in as a trivia. So during these credits, when Bill is talking over the phone,
Yeah.
there's go back and check it, because I had to go back and check it after I read this, just because I didn't see it at first. But there's a slight weird shift with the animation, like it does something weird,
Really?
and then it becomes slightly different. Yeah. So you see like a weird shift, and the animation looks a little different. Which I
called
don't
a-
know why.
It's called
Well, what
an
I'm
unlucky
thinking-
Pierre.
Well, what I'm thinking is that scene or something, since that, because they get all this is all done in Korea at this
Sure.
point. Maybe on that scene, it was just something that was thrown in. Like they were like, oh, well, we've already got the show ready. The end credits are done, and they
Yeah.
were sitting there like, oh, well, maybe let's hurry up and throw this in or something. Maybe that's
Well,
why they
you
had
got-
that animation
You got
blip.
Bill on his wireless phone, and he says, well, I don't know, Dale. He's talking to Dale,
Yeah, I
obviously. He
don't
goes,
know,
I didn't see a
Dale.
thing. Oh, I bet the city just hauled it away. And the camera just slowly pans out.
And
and
inch by inch, it reveals
it's
that he is
him.
laying underneath
He's
the couch
laying on the
canopy.
couch. Yeah, and he goes, it's probably all for the best.
And then he does that. Oh, you know, it's probably for the best.
Well-
and he stretches out and
I think this was a long episode, but I think it was well worth it. Thank
Yeah.
you. We did the 72-minute challenge here for this
72
episode.
minute challenge.
How many minutes
How
we
many
have,
minutes
Mason?
were we, Mason?
We're at about 70.
Wow, see?
Wow! So by the time I get
We
through
did it.
talking to you about everything else, we'll be
We
there.
did it.
So
We completed the 72-minute challenge.
Don't forget, we are nominated for Podcast of the Year at the Waco Awards.
of the
We will have links for you.
Sure.
And when that kicks off, you will know that it's happening for sure, because every social media that we have, it'll be on there every day.
Sure.
There'll be videos of me telling you about it.
Heck yeah.
We might even get a video of Mike on there, him telling you about
Yeah,
it. But
buddy.
whatever it takes, guys.
I'm going to use all my
We're
teeth.
gonna use all your teeth. We're gonna, I wish she didn't use all her teeth. Tomb.
Yeah,
there you go.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Be here all
But,
week, try the 72
be
ounce
here
steak.
all week. Yeah, try the 72 ounce
All right,
steak.
Rusty, where can they find us?
They will not find me at the salad bar at the 72 ounce
There
steak.
you
You can find us at BWAAAKOTH on all social medias.
Walk-up.
TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter are where I put most of everything. We have a Facebook page. Actually, I would love it if you guys engaged more on our Facebook page. So if you have,
Let's start a group.
we have a group.
We have a group.
We have a group and a page.
Hey, congratulations
So,
to us.
I
We
created
have
the
a
group and the page around the same time that I created all the other stuff. So
Oh, that's
we've,
cool.
we've had
Go
a
to our
Facebook for a
group.
long time. So go to our group, go to our page, go to all of anything, and just post like on our group page that we have. It would be great if you go on there, follow us,
Yep.
like
have
it.
Lots
whatever.
of great discounts for seniors in our
Yeah,
group.
great senior discounts.
really good.
I will sell you 2 eggs for the price of 1.
2 eggs for the price of 1.
Yeah,
Dear
yeah,
God.
you buy 2 get 1 free egg.
Hey, just real quick. We are in the month of November. And I
it
just
is November.
I
yes.
just want to remind you of something. in these tumultuous times when everybody's trying to stretch a dollar. I just want to inform everybody that there is a turkey price war going on.
Wow.
HEB, Walmart, and Aldi's. They're all trying to outdo each other for the price
For
of
the
a turkey.
cheapest turkey.
For the cheapest turkey.
So if I go to one of these stores, say I go to Walmart,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, well,
I want a cheap turkey.
I want a cheap turkey. So I go in there and I take a picture of the price of that turkey. Well, I'm like, well, let me shop around for my
Yeah,
turkey here.
yeah.
And I go over to HEB. Do they price match that turkey? If
I
theirs
don't,
is higher?
I don't know if they do, but I'm assuming they will if there's a price war.
I'm calling HEB.
And if you go to Aldi's and you take that same picture, they'll sell you a stray dog. So it's good.
Okay.
That's-
all right. There
that's
you go.
about what
If
they
you take
serve.
in 2 cans of beans to Aldi's,
Two cans of beans, you get a free dog.
they'll give you a free
Yeah.
dog.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for listening once again. We love every one of you except
we
for you,
appreciate it.
Bob. And we will see you next time.
Women Tanya.
With Tanya, indeed.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you would. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded 1-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that 1-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that 1-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a 1-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.